Yo, what's happening, Vonnie EC, another trucker? How's everybody feeling? Man, I'm feeling good, man. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. It's about 7 o'clock, and I'm off. I just pulled up to the yard, and finna go take my truck to get a few new drive tires. So yeah, man, that's the thing, man. When you responsible for your own equipment, you ain't gonna, you don't have no set off days. You got to come in on your off time, or you got to do stuff on your off time, which I'm cool with, but, that's the stuff that a company driver don't have to worry about, Good company driver, you got off. Yesterday was your last day at work, or last day of the week for work. Got off, you know what I'm saying? You went and kicked it last night, you fell into something soft, you know what I'm saying? Woke up this morning, ain't got to get up, feeling lazy from all the energy you let go last night, waking up to grits, sausage, and coffee, that type of energy. But on the operator, we got to get up. We still got to do work on our off days. So, nah, man, I'm just talking jive. But yeah, but for real though, that's the pros and cons. On the operator, you got to dedicate extra time, man, and you got to love it. Company driver, you ain't got to worry about this. Just a couple little pros and cons. But anyway, is it safe to get your own truck in 2025? The answer is anytime is safe to get your own truck. And I want to put context to that. My main message above all is preparation. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really here to tell people what they should be spending their money on. I don't really judge, you know what I'm saying? I don't judge people like the things that they into and spend money on, because I got vices too. You know what I'm saying? You might like muscle cars. You might be one of the people that spend your money on muscle cars. You know what I'm saying? And some people might think, well, you shouldn't spend your money on that. And I'm the same type of person that'll spend $500 on a bottle of cologne. I'm that type of person. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? We all got vices. So I don't really judge people. But my main message, just through my experience and what makes sense to me, is preparation. That's it. So even no matter what your vision is, when you coming in a trucking or you want to get your own truck, preparation is everything. And I stand on that. I don't care if all you want to do, if you don't, you know what I'm saying, if you don't have no elaborate plans, like you want to get in trucking and you want to invest in this, you want to build this business, then you want to parlay it into this bit, you know what I'm saying? All you might want to do is get you a souped up Charger, be around the chicks and have you some fly clothes and a nice place to live and jewelry, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Stuff that YNs like a lot, or YNs like. If that's all you want, and you coming in the trucking to get your own truck, my only advice to you is just to make sure that your trucking is squared away so you can ball in peace. Because if you ain't got this squared away, if your trucking stuff ain't in order, you know what I'm saying, everything that you do on the outside of this, it can crumble when this go wrong. So that's my only advice to anybody, no matter what you want to do, no matter what your vision is. You know what I'm saying? If all you want to do is just provide for a family, you know what I'm saying? Wifey, kids, you want to be able to take your kids to Disney World, take wifey on cruises, and whatever you like to do for the family, before you start spending money on trying to elevate your family to a better life per se, you got to make sure this trucking, if this is what you depending on, if you trying to get your own truck, if this is what you depending on, if being an owner operator with your own truck is what you depending on, preparation is everything. And you just got to make sure this is straight. And I think that's the biggest problem between people who survive and people who fail, in this industry, especially as far as being owner operators, the people who got, done had their own trucks, is the preparation. Yeah. This channel, the enthusiasm for me to continue putting content on this channel, I think I started this channel in 2021. So then I made a few videos, and I was like, this YouTube stuff ain't for me. I didn't have it in me to stay consistent. And then 2024, I started becoming more consistent with making these videos, but really my enthusiasm was from the pain of experience. And I ain't had nobody else to talk to. I got people to talk to, but when it comes to talking about trucking problems and the money that you spend being an owner operator, like, people outside of trucking, they not gonna understand what we go through. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was easier for me to talk to people in the trucking space about trucking, because most people that's in this, they understand. Or people that's listening that want to get into trucking, they're willing to listen. But a lot of people, you can't just talk to people outside of trucking about the money that you spend. Yeah, I spent 20,000 here, 15,000 there, 10,000 there. You know what I'm saying? When the average person, a lot of times, man, it's hard for them to afford to even replace an alternator on their car, which is like a few $100s, or get brakes and rotors. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody want to hear about your $10,000, $15,000 problems. Don't nobody care about that. So that's probably why a lot of us make content about trucking, because we have to talk to other truckers that understand where we coming from. Because, when you talk to people outside of trucking about your trucking problems involve lots of money. And, people might take that the wrong way. You talking about you just spent 10,000 on this and that. This person ain't even got $1,000 saved up. Don't nobody want to hear about that. You know what I'm saying? So this channel, the enthusiasm for continuing to make content on this channel really derived from pain. Like, hey, I done been to hell, and I'm just letting y'all know it's hot as hell down here. And just from that point, from when I started becoming more consistent with content from last year to now, that's just what it is. But my main point is, above all, man, preparation. So, is this the time to go get a truck? Yeah, anytime is good to go get your own truck, as long as you're prepared. I think preparation is key. And you can't let people discourage you from wanting to get your own truck either, because I noticed as well, when I came into the industry, man, few people that I talked to, just along the way, I would mention and tell people that I was gonna get my own truck. That was my whole point. That was my whole focus. Even coming in as a rookie company driver, I knew that I was gonna get my own truck eventually. One day, I knew this. And, that was on my mind. That's the frequency that I was walking on. And I would talk to people, and I would get a lot of discouragement. You know what I'm saying? Some people just weren't into being and living inside no truck. A lot of people just was afraid. You know what I'm saying? I just got more discouragement than I got encouragement. So in a lot of my videos, you might hear me mention my mentor, OG, just the older cat, you know what I'm saying, that I met, that has been in this trucking industry for a long time, for a while. And I just really appreciate him, because he's like the only person that I came across in real life that encouraged me to get my own truck. You know what I'm saying? And stayed on me about getting my own truck. I already knew I was going to get my own truck before I met him, but I'm more of a planner and a calculator. You know what I'm saying? So when I met him, man, we used to argue for like a year and a half, 2 years, man, about me getting a truck. And his thing was, he got a total different philosophy than I do. You know what I'm saying? He think like a cowboy, just pull the trigger and let it fly. That's his philosophy. I'm more of a planner. You know what I'm saying? I'm a plotter. So Yeah, we used to get into arguments and debates about it all the time, man. And sometimes he'll call me. I see his name on the phone. I don't even want to pick it up because I don't want to hear his mouth. But he stayed on me about getting my own truck. Yeah, especially in doing hazmat tankers. So, because that's what he was doing, and that's what he does as well. So, yeah, he influenced me to get the truck sooner than I wanted to. Now, in no way, shape, or form am I blaming him for why I got my truck earlier than I wanted to. Because if it weren't for his influence, I ain't gonna lie, I would have waited. I still would have waited. I still would have waited a little bit more and stacked up some more bread. But he just, his thing was, now I never. You know what I'm saying? You bullshitting. You know, when I was, damn, I was doing good. Trying not to curse, trying to work on my speaking ability. You know what I'm saying? Trying not to curse so much. So anyway, yeah, when I was working company, I'd be going to certain places. I'd be going to Louisiana. He'd be like, that's $4,000. Oh, you going to Texas? That's $5,000. You know what I'm saying? He just kept messing with me. So eventually I was influenced to just go ahead and go get the truck. But, like I say, I still wish on my own decision that I would have waited. But it still was a good thing to have somebody to encourage me to get my own truck, because you ain't gonna come up. I don't know about you, but me, I know I came across people that I talked to about getting my own truck. Their disposition was discouraging. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they was discouraging, man. And just after a while, I just learned to just keep things to myself. Just learn to just keep things to myself, man. I learned that you can't really talk to too many people. You people I was cool with, you know what I'm saying? Just people that I came across along the way, like, yeah, man, I'm gonna get my own truck, you know what I'm saying? And just the dry response, man. A lot of people, they just didn't feel like having their own truck was worth it. People that I've talked to, you know what I'm saying? Even when I was a company driver, certain people that I would see that had certain capabilities, I would try to encourage them to get their own truck. Now, I remember it was when I worked at Food Liner, man, it was this one Mexican cat named Anthony. Hell of a driver. And what I mean by hell of a driver, he was just involved in his work, even as a company driver. Like, he was willing to work on his truck, kept tools. He was just involved. You know what I'm saying? He was like one of them drivers that, like, me looking at him, I seen a reflection of myself. Like, damn, that's when I kind of started realizing, like, man, I think I'm a steering wheel holder, because he doing a lot of stuff that I don't do. You know what I'm saying? So, but I used to talk to him like, man, you ain't ever thought about getting your own truck? You know, I used to promote to him getting his own truck before I even had a truck. But I just always thought, just like, the way he was involved, he was mechanically inclined. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I always thought that he would have been a coal owner operator, but he really, me talking to him, and I look back, he didn't have the confidence within himself to step out there like that. But my thing was, man, you work hard for this company and you mechanically inclined, you are fit to be an owner operator. But you know what I'm saying? At the same time, man, people gotta want it for themselves. You have to want this. Getting a truck, coming in the trucking industry and getting a truck, man, it's just like, and making it and creating the life that you want and the vision that you want. You have to believe in yourself to do this. This is not just no automatic job, the way you just gonna get automatic, consistent pay the way you want it. It don't work like that. This is a journey to where you have to believe in yourself. Just the same thing as anything else. Know what I'm saying? And I think being a successful owner operator is probably just as hard as being a successful rapper. Or I don't want to necessarily use the word hard, but I just say this is if you take this step, this is something you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to be able to rise to the occasion. Yeah. And some, you know what I'm saying, the stuff that you go through, it ain't gonna do nothing but make you stronger. So, yeah, man, don't let people discourage you from you know, from your dreams. Or you want to, you know what I'm saying? Like I say, my thing is just to put that reality on people, just to let you know what it really is and what it's really gonna take. You know what I'm saying? And what come with this, and how you should be looking at it. Because it's gonna take work. You know, anytime is a good time to get a truck. Really, it's ways to go about things, and it's way, you know what I'm saying. Well, hold on. Let me rewind that, because the time that I bought my truck, it wasn't a good time. Or just, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't a good time. I could have waited. It wasn't a good time. But you get what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, right now, the prices, this is a great time. This is a great time to go get a truck. Because, I don't know, what this supposed crackdown they finna do with the English compliancy bill they finna enforce, probably finna be, I would suspect that there's gonna be a lot of trucks up for sale. You know what I'm saying? So this is especially now, this is a great time. But I'm just saying, overall, you gotta be prepared. You have to be prepared. The lack of preparation, you will fail. You will fail. You know, I watch other people's channels, man, because I'm just a trucker, you know. So I never had no problem giving other people their props or mentioning other people. It's nothing to me, because we supposed to be here to share information and receive information. That's what I'm here for. You know what I'm saying? Ooh. But one person that I've seen so far really do it right, just going off this person's story and how they put it out there, was this young cat named Interstate Made Me. I mentioned him before, and I'm not saying that he's the only one that did it like this, but he the only one that I've heard with this story. You know what I'm saying? That verbalized that this is the way that he did it. But, you know, was a company driver 8 years before he jumped out there with his own trucking authority. I think he worked, you know what I'm saying, within his 8 years, he worked OTR. I think he said he saved up like 100. Once he got to the point of where he saved up 100,000 and some change, he went and bought a truck. He went and bought a cash truck, started working on it. You know what I'm saying? And still went back over the road, stacking up more money, working on his truck, stacking up more money. And once he got everything together, you know what I'm saying, he got his own authority. He went out on the road. But by that time, he was up 200 bands or something, you know what I'm saying? Something like that. You got to go look at the story. But y'all, some people might know. But to come into the industry with that type of artillery and preparation, I personally feel like that's the way you're supposed to do it. Because like right now, just like the little bit of content that I see of his, or some of the content that I've seen, like right now, I think that same truck, he's having it completely redone. And he's spending a lot of money, spending some good bread on that truck. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people is not in that position as owner operators. You would think that all owner operators supposed to be in that position to be able to do what they want to do like that. But he did what was required. And I use him for an example because he's an example of somebody who really, really, really put the work in on the front end. So now, you know what I'm saying, he get to do what he want to do on the back end. You know what I'm saying? He can handle business from a standpoint of confidence, high self-esteem, he ain't got to make decisions out of desperation because he got the bread. His system is flowing. A lot of us, we don't come in like that, including myself. You know what I'm saying? I thought I came in with good preparation. It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to continue to do what I wanted to do to keep things going good, but it was enough to still keep me surviving to where I'm still here right now. You know what I'm saying? So, but I use him for an example because I feel like he did it the right way. Like, a lot of people want to cheat their way to success in everything. You know what I'm saying? But he's a prime example of somebody who put the work in on the front end. That way, when he decided that he wanted to boss up, he can do things the right way. He ain't got a penny pinch about his truck. You know what I'm saying? He ain't got to roll on bald tires. Anything that need to be addressed, it can get addressed like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way it's supposed to be. But a lot of times when you come in with minimal resources, this trucking to lead you trying to put strings together. And it could be a never-ending situation, you know what I'm saying, to where you might have to hang it up, and, you know, if you want to come back around to it, start all over again. But you gonna pay. Either way, you gonna pay. Either you gonna put in the work. Look, I look at, like, he said he was on Interstate made me was an owner-operator. I'm not owner-operator, but a company driver for 8 years. So ain't that the same time it take for people to go to be lawyers and doctors? You know, they got to do what, 6, 8, 10 years in formal education, a formal institution, whatever the process they got to go through. It take years for them to become certified. So that's kind of like the same thing that he did. He sacrificed his 20s. So now he in his early 30s and he bossed up. And 30 is still young. Like, if you in your 20s, man, don't feel like 30 is old. Because it's not. Look, let me break it down to you. 21, at the age of 21, you know, I know a lot of y'all still, you know, y'all feel like y'all grown. You can't nobody tell you what to do. But us older people, when you're 21, you know, you still a baby. That's how we look at you. Because when I was 21, that's what I heard a lot of older people tell me. You still a baby. I didn't understand that, but now I do. So at 21, you a baby. At 30, you a young man or a young woman. You know what I'm saying? And at 40, you a grown man or a grown woman. 40 ain't old either. When we young, we look at people in their 40s as being old. You know what I'm saying? You know how it is. You old in. You know what I'm saying? These old, you know what I'm saying? But 40 ain't old. 40, you just grown. You super grown. And you should be doing and thinking in a certain way by the time you hit 40. So just when you hit 40, the game ain't over. Really, the game just really getting started at 40. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So when you young, them the best times to sacrifice. You know, like I said, I don't know the guy Interstate made me, but I don't know his financial situation, but he'll probably be a millionaire by 40. I'm willing to bet, just from what I've seen of some of his content and how he think and how he talk, he gonna be on his way to being a millionaire. He'll be a millionaire by 40 for sure. Hell yeah, I see it. You know what I'm saying? I know he see it. So, it's all about preparation, family. Preparation. You gonna put the work in either way. Either you gonna come in prepared, you gonna put that time in. A lot of people don't want to put that type of time in. He did 8 years. A lot of people don't want to do that. They want overnight lease. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not doing no lease. You know, the lease is for some people. If you can make it work, make it work. But you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got, you know, sometimes when you take the scenic route, and some people don't, you ain't gotta agree with this, but sometimes when you take the scenic route, it make your foundation much stronger. You know what I'm saying? Because even if you come in with minimal resources, then you still gonna have to spend time trying to get it up. You're gonna spend time having to fight through the ups and downs. You know what I'm saying? you gonna put work in regardless. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least like in somebody like Interstate made me case with him coming in prepared, he can weather storms. He's in a good position to weather storms. A lot of us, we don't be in good positions to weather storms. You know, me personally, I've weathered storms. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people don't be in a position to weather storms. Because being in business, storms is coming, especially in this trucking. So I'm just here to put the reality to it, just to get people to think. Preparation is key. So yeah, don't be discouraged about getting your own truck. Just plan, plot, strategize, and bomb first. You know what I'm saying? If you know, you know where that line came from. But yeah, man, just have a plan, and don't get discouraged, family. Don't let nobody discourage you, because there's some people that'll tell you, "Don't, man, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do that." I remember it was this one cat I used to work with, and I remember I told him I was thinking about getting my own truck, and he was a manager at a company, and I told him I wanted to get my own truck, and I just remember he kind of laughed, kind of chuckled at me, like, "Oh, you want to get your own truck, huh?" And he you know, he told me that he had his own truck, and then proceeded to tell me, "Hey, man, you know, if anything you want to know, you know, I can tell you. You know what I'm saying? Just let me know you need any information." And just by that interaction, I decided that he's not somebody that I want to talk to. No, I'm cool, man. I mean, yeah, you can learn from anybody, but I don't know, just his sarcastic, like, looking down on me because his shit failed. That's how I took it. Dang, I cursed again. I'm getting better though. I think I only cursed 2 times. Yeah, but I just felt like he was looking down on my future endeavor of wanting to get a truck, because obviously him being an owner operator didn't work out for him. and that's how I took it. So I just knew, like, yeah, he ain't nobody I want to be talking to about nothing. So yeah, man, don't. So out of everything that I said, man, don't let nobody discourage you from getting a truck. You know, trucking gonna be here. A lot of stuff that's going on in this is just noise. You know, you gotta pay attention to what's going on. It's good to know what's going on, but you still gotta keep doing what you're doing. A lot of stuff is just noise. Stick to the plan, and if you can, you know, if you want to get a truck, man, prepare. You know what I'm saying? And be willing to put the work in. And that's all I got. Bonnie, you see another trucker. Be easy.